could go all day.
I know.
I love this stuff's fascinating though.
It is.
You know,
It is.
because I remember when I was younger, and I'm sure that you guys, and when I say you, I mean the industry, the research, where they've figured out why we need sleep. But I remember there was a period of time where they didn't really understand why the body had to be shut down for so long, why we actually needed sleep. But that seems to be pretty much solved at this point. But do you think there's going to be a period of time? I mean, we're still talking about evolution, but do you think there's going to be a period of time where our bodies won't require as much or require sleep? Or do you think this
superchargers, superchargers versus wall chargers?
The way we're built. But it's just kind of the way that we're built.
Well, I mean, it's interesting because, right, society used to tell us, you snooze, you lose. Time is money. Who was the first person to show up and the last person to leave? And if you were tired, it meant you were dedicated. But what's interesting is now we're realizing that when we're not getting that right amount of sleep, it actually makes us less productive. We're more likely to multitask. We see 40% reduction in production time in terms of how productive we are. The reason I'm saying that is what I think we're actually starting to find is that a lot of people have very varied in terms of the amount of sleep that they need, but we haven't been giving ourselves nearly enough sleep to get it. And now with stress levels increasing, for some people, we're actually needing more and more sleep because it's putting such a strain on the body. So if anything, we're almost going in the opposite direction but in general, that around like 7-8 hours average of sleep is something that has stayed pretty consistent across the decades, across the generations and the centuries. I will have to say, I can't imagine right now that people will need less and less, because we're actually finding that I think people are realizing that they need more and more, but people are going to continue to try to find ways to do less, to fit more in their day. But that's where we see people burning out so much, because the demands are exceeding the resources that are available. And even for things you care about, think about caregivers or even volunteering. You love these things, but sometimes it's just like, oh my gosh, I need a day off.
Too much, yeah.
Sorry to disappoint on that one.
I think we keep Melissa talking forever.
And finally, we'd like to thank Amundi Pioneer for sponsoring this podcast and our time with Dr. Milanak.